Hello dear students, today we are going to start class 9th History Chapter 2 Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution Part 6. Students, in this part we will cover Introduction, Making of a Socialist Society, Stalinism and Collectivization, Main Features of Collectivization, Consequences of the Revolution, Impact on Russia and the World. Making of a Socialist Society. Students, before starting this, let us recall what we discussed in previous part so that it will be easy for you to understand the further contents. Students, in previous part we discussed about the second stage of the revolution, that was October Revolution 1917. In that we have seen April Thesis. April Thesis was the demand of Lenin when he came to Russia after the exile. He made three demands, and his three demands were: the war be brought to a close, land to be transferred to the peasants, and banks be nationalized. Lenin also stressed that the Bolshevik Party should be renamed as the Communist Party in order to indicate its new radical aims. However, most others in the Bolshevik Party were of the view that the time was not yet ripe for a socialist revolution. Students, after that we have seen the events of October Revolution 1917 in Russia. In that we have seen a conflict grew between the provisional government and the Bolsheviks, as Lenin feared that the provisional government may set up a dictatorship. On 16 October 1917, Lenin persuaded them to accept socialist power and appointed a military revolutionary committee under the Leon Trotsky to organize the seizure. The uprising began on 24 October, and Kerensky, the Prime Minister, left the city to call troops. In a swift response, the Military Revolutionary Committee ordered its supporters to seize government offices and arrest ministers. By nightfall, the city was under the committee's control and the ministers had surrendered. Uprising took place in other cities. There was heavy fighting, but by December, the Bolsheviks controlled the Moscow-Petrograd area. In this way, we have seen that the power came in the hands of Bolsheviks. After that, they had done many changes in Russia. Bolsheviks were totally opposed to private property. Most industries and banks were nationalized. Land was declared a social property. In cities, they enforced the partition of large houses according to family requirements. They banned the use of the old titles of aristocracy. The Bolshevik Party was renamed the Russian Communist Party. So many changes were made after the October Revolution 1917, when the power came in the hands of Bolsheviks. So students, in this way we have seen the Bolshevik Revolution and its achievements. Then we have seen the Civil War. The Bolshevik Revolution was followed by a period of civil war in Russia. Students, I told you that civil war is a war between two groups within the same country. So civil war took place in Russia in two groups, that is the Reds and Whites. Reds were Bolsheviks. They were the supporters of socialism, and Whites were the supporters of Tsar. So in this way it was a fighting among them. Whites, many were staunch supporters of private property. They dealt with peasants who had seized land and hard measures. Students, the Bolshevik emerged victorious in the Civil War because of the cooperation extended by the non-Russian nationalities and Muslim jihadists. But cooperation could not work in the areas where Russian colonists had themselves turned Bolsheviks. Thus, as a result of Bolshevik Revolution, autocratic monarchy came to an end in Russia and a socialist rule was established under the leadership of Lenin. So in this way, we have seen that the power came in the hands of Bolsheviks. Lenin was the main leader of this party. After getting the power, there was a new target, that is to make a socialist society. Now let us see how the socialist society was formed by Lenin. Students, during the Civil War, the Bolsheviks kept industries and banks nationalized. They permitted peasants to cultivate the land that had been socialized. Bolsheviks used confiscated land to demonstrate what collective work could be. A process of centralized planning was introduced. Officials assessed how the country could work and set targets for a 5-year period. On this basis, they made the 5-year plans. The government fixed all prices to promote industrial growth during the first two plans. So, students, let us see what kind of steps were taken in the making of a socialist society. Bolsheviks permitted peasants to cultivate the land that is socialized. A process of centralized planning was introduced. Officials assessed working of economy and set targets for 5-year period, and hence 5-year plans were made. Government fixed all prices to promote industrial growth, leading to economic growth. Industrial production increased, new factory cities set up. However, rapid construction led to poor working condition. Students, in the city of Magnitogorsk, the construction of a steel plant was achieved in 3 years. Workers lived hard life and the result was 550 stoppages of work in the first year alone. In living quarters in the winter time at 40 degrees below, people had to climb down from the fourth floor and dash across the street in order to go to the toilet. So they faced many problems. So students, their problems were also solved. An extended schooling system developed and arrangements were made for factory workers and peasants. Creches were established in factories because women, they were also working there. So to help them, cheap public health care was provided, and modern living quarters were set up for workers. The should not be here, students. Sorry for that. And modern living quarters were set up for workers. So in this way, these kind of changes were made after the power came in the hands of Bolsheviks. They tried to make a socialist society by taking these measures. Stalinism and collectivization. Students, now we will see the features of Stalinism and collectivization. Stalinism and collectivization. Students, a new system started, that was collectivization. Collectivization is the organization of all of a country's production and industry so that it is owned and managed by the government. So that kind of program was started in Russia. Students, the power came into the hands of Stalin, the General Secretary of Communist Party, after the death of Lenin in January 1924. Dictatorship of one man and one party was established in Russia under his leadership. The main objective of Stalin was to bring about an all-around development of the establishment of communism in the country. In order to achieve this objective, planning commission was constituted and 5-year plans were implemented. The first 5-year plan was formulated in 1928. So students, Stalin wanted to establish the collectivization program. The period of the early planned economy was linked to the disasters of the collectivization of agriculture. By 1927 to 1928, the towns in Soviet Russia were facing an acute problem of grain supplies. The government fixed prices at which grain must be sold, but the peasants refused to sell their grain to government buyers at these prices. Stalin, who headed the party after the death of Lenin, introduced firm emergency measures. He believed that rich peasants and traders in the countryside were holding stocks in the hope of higher prices. Speculation had to be stopped and supplies confiscated. In 1928, party members toured the grain producing areas, supervising enforced grain collections and raiding kulaks. Student kulaks were the well-to-do peasants. As shortages continued, the decision was taken to collective farms. It was argued that grain shortages were partly due to the small size of holdings. After 1917, land had been given over the peasants. The small-sized peasant farms could not be modernized. To develop modern farms and run them along industrial lines with machinery, it was necessary to eliminate kulaks, take away land from peasants, and establish state-controlled land farms. So students, in this way, he wanted to establish collectivization. Let us recall, the early years of planned economy proved to be disasters for the collectivization of agriculture. There was acute problem of grain supplies in the towns in 1927 to 28. The prices were fixed by the government, but the peasants refused to sell grains to government buyers at these prices. This was the time when Stalin was head of the party, introduced emergency measures. Students, here FROM is written, it should be firm, F-I-R-M, firm emergency measures. In 1928, he sent party members to grain producing areas. There supervised enforced collections of grains. Kulaks, well-to-do peasants, were raided, but these steps could not solve the grain crisis. Stalin's collectivization program was then started. Now we'll see the main features of collectivization program. Collective farms were established by combining different holdings of the peasants. All peasants had to cultivate in collective farms. From 1929, these collective farms came to be known as kolkhoz. The bulk of land and implements were transferred to the ownership of collective farms. Peasants worked on the land and the kolkhoz profit was shared. The peasants resisting collectivization had to undergo severe punishments. Many of them were deported and exiled. The production did not recorded any increase immediately in spite of collectivization. The bad harvests during the period 1930 to 33 added to the sufferings of the masses and caused one of the most devastating famine in Soviet history. So students, as it was started with great expectation that the production will be increased, but there was disappointment because many people they disliked this system and they opposed it. Those who resisted collectivization were severely punished. Many were deported and exiled. They were forcibly moved from their country. As they resisted collectivization, peasants argued that they were not rich and they were not against socialism. They merely did not want to work in collective farms for a variety of reasons. Stalin's government allowed some independent cultivation but treated such cultivators unsympathetically. So, this was the policy of Stalin. Now, let us see what was the effect of this system. As we have seen, this system was not that much fruitful because many people they disliked, and those they disliked this they resisted. They were sent to exile. They were punished severely by the government. Students, enraged peasants resisted the authorities and destroyed their livestock. Between 1929 and 1931, the number of cattle fell by one third. Many people they destroyed their livestock, they killed their animals. The production did not record any increase immediately in spite of collectivization. The bad harvest during the period 1930 to 33 added the sufferings of the masses and caused one of the most devastating famine in Soviet history. In this way, it was not very much fruitful for the government or the people. So students, here we have seen some features of Stalinism and collectivization program. Consequences of the revolution impact on Russia and the world. Students, now we will discuss about the consequences of the Russian Revolution, its impact on Russia and the world. First, we will see the impact on Russia. Students, there was a great impact on Russia of the Russian Revolution. Many things were changed, as the first change was end of autocratic rule. The revolution brought an end of the autocratic monarchy in Russia. The Tsarist Empire was transformed into a new state known as Union of Soviet Socialist Republic or the Soviet Union. The next change we have seen, establishment of a socialist government. The most important result of the Bolshevik Revolution was the establishment of a socialist government in Russia. All means of production were brought under state control. Even property of the church was nationalized. Work became an essential requirement for every person. The non-working person was not entitled to vote. The next change was industrial growth and economic development. As a result of the Bolshevik Revolution, the government took under its control all means of production and nationalized all small and big industries. Hence, within a few years, Russia emerged as a powerful industrial state. With the growth of industrial and agricultural production, poverty started disappearing and the country moved on to the path of prosperity. So, in this way, we have seen the industrial growth and economic development after the Russian Revolution. Growth in education. The Bolshevik government gave much importance to the education of the masses. Education was nationalized and military education was made compulsory. A department of education was set up to look after the education. The wards of peasants and workers were allowed to get free education. So had done many uh, government had taken many steps in the improvement of education. Equal rights to all nationalities. As earlier, before the Russian Revolution, non-Russian people, they were not getting their proper rights. After Russian Revolution, they got their rights. So equal rights to all nationalities. As an important consequence of the Bolshevik Revolution, the policy of discrimination towards non-Russian nationalities was abandoned and equality of all nationalities in the USSR was recognized. The republics formed by nationalities were provided considerable autonomy. Russia becomes a major world power. After Russian Revolution, Russia became a major world power. As a result of the Bolshevik Revolution, a strong and popular government, the government of the masses, was formed in Russia. The bold political, economic, and social policies adopted by the government made Russia not only a major power of Europe but of the whole world. After Russian Revolution, the economic growth we have seen, the social growth, the political growth of the country that made Russia a world power, a major world power. So in this way, we have seen a better condition of Russia. Now students, we will see the global impact of the Russian Revolution. Spread of communism in the world. The Bolshevik Revolution helped in the spread of socialist and communist ideas all over the world. A revolutionary wave swept Europe in 1918 and 1919 with German revolutionary sailors carrying the banner of the Soviets through the country. A revolution boosted the Spanish revolutionaries with a new burst of energy. Students, communist governments were established in many European countries like Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Bulgaria. China, an important Asian country, also went under communism. Soviets were formed by tobacco workers in Cuba, and revolutionary student movements erupted in Argentina. The Bolshevik Revolution left a deep impact on the revolutionary forces in Mexico. So we have seen that many countries, they adopted communist system in their own country. Revolutionary movements started in different countries by getting inspiration from the Russian Revolution. Formation of the Third International. Most of the Bolshevik leaders believed that a series of revolutions will sweep other countries of the world along with the revolution in Russia. Hence, the Third International was formed with headquarters at Moscow for promoting revolutions on an international scale. As we have seen earlier, by the Karl Marx and his friend, two internationals were set up, first international and second international, that is to encourage the people for their rights. The communist parties of all the countries were affiliated to it. The main purpose of the Third International was to extend all possible help to the workers of different countries to abolish capitalism and to establish the power of the proletariat. So, in this way, we have seen that the global impact of Russian Revolution in different countries. Next impact was blow to imperialism, boost to freedom movement. The Bolshevik Revolution contributed greatly to the liquidation of imperialism. The Bolshevik government granted freedom to all its colonies immediately after coming to power. Thus, the new Soviet state came forward as a friend of the subjugated people and proved to be a source of great inspiration to the freedom movements of various Asian and African countries. In India, M.N. Roy and later many others were greatly influenced by communism. While appreciating the Bolshevik Revolution and the communism brought by it, Jawaharlal Nehru wrote in his autobiography, Russia, following the great Lenin, looked into the future and thought only of what was to be, while other countries lay numbered under the dead hand of the past and spent their energy in preserving the useless relics of a bygone age. In this way, the Russian Revolution inspired many of the leaders in Asian countries also. In that, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Rabindranath Tagore, they got inspiration from Russian Revolution. Next impact was increase in global tension. The main motive of the Bolshevik Revolution was to encourage global revolution. Thus, new government considering world and inspired considering itself the forerunner of communism. Students, a new government considered itself the forerunner of communism, started propagating it throughout the world and inspired proletariat of all the countries for revolution. They inspired others also. Consequently, global tension started mounting. Division of the world into two blocks. That was also one of the impact of Russian Revolution. The Bolshevik Revolution was a symbol of the victory of communism. It divided the whole world into two blocks. One block comprised of Russia and its supporting communist countries, and the other consisted of England. Many countries of the world allied themselves with one bloc or the other. The rivalry between these two blocs posed a great threat to the world peace for a long time. This Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 was perhaps the most significant event of the 20th century. So, students, here we discussed about the global influence of the Russian Revolution. Now, students, after the explanation, let us check the understanding. For that, we'll do test your progress. Students, before this, let us recall the facts we learned in this chapter. Let us recall some points. The Russian Revolution was the first successful socialist revolution which changed the course of the world history for many decades. The Tsars in Russia ruled in a highly autocratic manner. They believed in the divine theory of kingship that we have seen in the starting. Governance was not only despotic but also inefficient and weak. Appointments to high posts were not made according to efficiency and ability. That was the reason behind the Russian Revolution. These all were the reasons behind. The common people or their representatives had no participation in the administration of the country. The Russian bureaucracy was inflexible and inefficient. Officials were highly incompetent, corrupt, and dishonest. Tsar Nicholas was dominated by his German wife Tsarina Alexandra, who was under great influence of hypocritical Saint Rasputin. Neither the farmers nor the workers had any meaningful place in the society. There was widespread dissatisfaction among non-Russian like Jews, Finns, Germans, Uzbeks, etc. living in Russian Empire. The liberals and radicals, their ideas of the West penetrated into the country in a way or the other and gave birth to an intellectual ferment. They brought a new idea of socialism. In the last quarter of the 19th century, the intellectuals started preaching their ideas to the peasants through a movement known as going to the people. During the last decade of 19th century, there was a rapid spread of socialist ideology in Russia. Students, then we have seen the formation of Socialist Democratic Labour Party. Lenin was the most important leader of the Bolshevik. He organized the Bolshevik Party and made it an important instrument for bringing about revolution. Tsar Nicholas II issued a declaration of administrative reforms known as October Manifesto on October 30, 1905. The participation of Russia in the First World War proved fatal and brought about the final collapse of the Russian autocracy. The revolution of 1917 was accomplished into two stages, February Revolution and October Revolution. So students, these two stages you should remember, that February Revolution and October Revolution. The second revolution, popularly known as Bolshevik Revolution, is also known as the October Revolution because according to the old Russian calendar, it began on October 25, 1917. The revolution put an end to autocratic monarchy in Russia. The Tsarist Empire was transformed into a new state known as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics or the Soviet Union. Then we have also seen the collectivization programs. The Bolshevik Revolution helped in the spread of socialist and communist ideas all over the world. In this way, we have covered the whole chapter. So students, for the better understanding, there is need to read the NCERT book so that you can understand the chapter properly. Mark the important lines, dates, as these are very important in history. Some important terms are there. There is need to learn those terms, learn the dates also, underline the main events, and read this chapter in your NCERT book for the better understanding. Now some questions are here. Let us see. Evaluate the main features of Stalin's collectivization program. What was the global influence of Russian Revolution? Describe the history of socialist movement in Russia. Highlight the role of Lenin in the Russian Revolution. So students, these are some questions and I hope you will easily do these questions. Thank you.